Welcome to the Seattle Investors Club podcast with Julie Clark and Joe Bauer, where we share the nuts and bolts of real estate investing from our 20-plus years in the industry. Sit back, relax, listen, and immediately take action. Are you ready? Here we go.
Welcome to the Nuts and Bolts of Real Estate Investing podcast. My name is Joe Bauer, and I'm here with my co-host, Julie Clark. Julie, how you doing today?
What's up, guys? I got my morning gear, Pacific Northwest hat. I don't know, RV. I'm trying to hang with you guys on our topic today. So I am doing all good in the hood, Joe. How are you doing? How are you doing? You and Jennifer Beadles here. What's up? In the house.
Hello.
Not in the, I say in the house, but actually not in the house.
In the RV.
The RV. Yeah, it's gonna be fun today, guys. We're chilling it old school here today. Different topic. We're just gonna talk about RV living and investing and working on the road with Joe and Jennifer here, who have been on the road for quite some time, living the good life that the rest of us stuck in our offices here are striving to copy and emulate and live vicariously through. No doubt that is happening. So I'm just going to kick it off here because this is kind of a different one today. And I think you guys all know, how do I point? One direction. My partner here, the handsome Joe Bauer, the handsome and muscular Joe Bauer. He's my co-founder here at Seattle Investors Club. And we've been together, Joe, dating in our business life. We're not married. Some people probably wonder, are we married? No, we're not married. You know, we're not, he's not my brother. We're just business partners here. And we have been hanging out since like 2012. It's been an awesome time to get to know Joe. And I feel like he is part of my family now. And I'm so happy. Love you, brother. And so for those of you, many of you know this because I brag on him all the time. But Joe is the founder of something called the Get Better Project. And his whole life, which we can all be jealous of, he chronicles through his social media channels called The Fantastic Life. But Joe, in your own words, why don't you tell us about the Get Better Project and what you're up to there?
Yeah, so basically we've been on the road for 2.5 years now. And the first year we tested the Get Better Project, let's say, because stepping back before that, we were very competitive in fitness and doing that at a gym and not really sure how it was going to go when we were on the road. So the first year we tested doing all of this stuff with just a couple of dumbbells and a kettlebell. And it worked so well that we actually, in some cases, got more fit than we were before. Not like in super heavy lifting weights, but in a lot of the other categories that are, like, wait, we can go run up mountains. We can go skiing whenever we want to. We can look really good and in shape. So then that kicked off to let's publish the workouts that we're actually going to be doing, since I've been doing this for so long and I can write a good program for other people and help them with not only, the workouts, but the nutrition side, stress, sleep, all that fun stuff. So that turned into the Get Better Project, which is, pretty much workout anywhere with no equipment, with 2 dumbbells, or we have programs for people that have that full garage gym that those people are building out right now because of COVID. So that is the Get Better Project in a nutshell.
Awesome. Awesome stuff, brother. And he's doing this all on the road, which is the point of today's podcast. And then also with us today to make this super fun, we have Miss Jennifer Beadles. I'm going to look at my notes here, guys, on my side screen here. So Jennifer, by the way, if you haven't, you kind of have your head in your sand if you know us and you don't know who Jennifer Beadles is, but she is also you can learn more about Jennifer on our podcast number 110, where we did a deep dive with Jennifer and got to know her a little bit better. Today, we're going to get to know what she's been up to kind of since then. But Jennifer Beadles is the founder of the brokerage firm Agents Invest and a powerhouse investor community called Addicted to ROI. She founded Agents Invest in 2016 in hopes of putting more investor clients into your business. Agents Invest is actually a referral brokerage offering access to more investor clients. And she's also built a network of real estate investors, again, called Addicted to ROI. Go look on all the social media channels and you're going to find that if you don't know what that is already. And Addicted to ROI is a community of real estate investors that are pursuing financial freedom through passive income. She is the queen of referring and finding you off-market deals or on-market deals, even out of state. If you are looking to invest out of state and you are not a member of Addicted to ROI or plugged into Agents Invest, you are missing a lot of opportunities to grab great deals. And if you're an agent and you want to be a referral partner with Jennifer's program, definitely plug in and check out Agents Invest. Jennifer, you want to add on top anything on that today?
Thank you, Julie. Yay. I just want to take you everywhere with me. Thank you for the introduction. What to add on that? I think you covered everything, right? So I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate broker. I'm a mom. I'm someone who just loves my freedom and travel and living this, what I kind of call this passive income lifestyle. So yeah, super excited to be here with you guys. This is a topic that I am extremely passionate about, with two of my favorite people. So thanks, guys. Can't wait to chat about this.
Let's do it. It's going to be fun today. So I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to kick it off here. I'm going to say, where are you guys at? Where are you at, Joe?
I am in the Crystal Mountain Ski Resort parking lot. And if you guys are watching this, you may be able to see back here. Can you see it snowing back through the window? I'm not sure if you can, but it is snowing out there right now. I'm going to put that back up so it doesn't wash me out. But yep, snowing. We're going to go skiing or snowboarding right after we're done here. So
jealous. Awesome. Jennifer, where are you at?
Amazing. I am in the most haunted city in the United States, Savannah, Georgia. And in the last, 48 hours, we've been in 3 different states. So last night we were in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And then the day before we were in St. Augustine, Florida. But this week, Savannah, Georgia.
How do you guys determine where you're going? I mean, Joe, I know you had a plan initially when you kicked this off a few years ago that your plan was to hit all the national parks, of which how much did you accomplish? All of them or what?
Yeah, so I'm looking at my list right now. We've got a list on the wall. This is cool that we have video going on. Say hi to Emily.
Hey, Emily.
We have a list on the wall right there that shows all of the national parks that we have gone to, and there are 3 left on that list. Unfortunately, there's a couple more that they've added since then that we're going with what we started with. And the 3 that are on there, I'm sorry, there's 4 on there. The Olympic National Park, because we haven't been there in the van yet. But the American Samoa, Yosemite, we haven't been to yet, and Rocky Mountain, we haven't been to. So, those we're not like hurrying through them. We're trying to hit them at the best time of the year, and that's why we didn't get through those. But figuring out where we go next, right now we're on this really big kick of seasonally snowboarding in the winter and finding the best snow spots, specifically on the Icon Pass right now. So we'll spend a lot of time in Colorado this winter. We spend like the holiday season up here in the Pacific Northwest, and then we got so into mountain biking, which is also very good in Colorado, Utah, Arizona, that the summer months we've been kind of veering in that direction and trying to hit our favorite spots and finding new spots and figuring out how to work where we can get the little internet zones and things like that. So it's kind of up in the air. It's not super specific like a line like the national parks, but there is some method to the madness.
How about you, Jennifer? What's your game plan? Do you have a roadmap you're trying to hit?
Yeah. So for some context, so we left Seattle on October 3rd. And our first mission was to get to the state of Tennessee outside of Nashville because we were closing on a new 6-unit property. And so we just, I guess for the first time ever, go see one of the out-of-state properties before closing. So that was kind of a funny deal. And then we hung out in Tennessee for about a month. And when the weather changed, literally we left Nashville on a Friday and it started snowing on a Monday, the Monday after we left. And so we headed south. And so right now we're actually kind of doing the snowbird lifestyle, I guess you can say. So we're kind of hanging around in the South, just chasing sun, beaches, exploring cool old historic cities. And that's kind of the plan we're on now. Joe and I were kind of chatting about what's next. We book maybe a couple of weeks at a time. So we are very last second, last minute, fly by the seat of our pants kind of family. And so, yeah, we've just kind of been going that direction, and so far so good. And so I think we're just going to stick with that plan for now and just see where it takes us.
I always wonder, like, when you guys are doing this sort of thing, how do you know where to park? I mean, you got to find a place, right? How do you know? I mean, that's like creates stress for me, thinking that where am I going to park for the night? You know, because my kids are driving me nuts and I got to get out of this car or this van. I got to know where I'm going. How do you guys, I mean, what's the secret sauce there, or is there any?
That is a fantastic question right there. And well, for a long time, it definitely caused us stress. We try to have some sort of a plan with the where you're going to park thing. Like, is that going to be a campground? Is that going to be using some sort of app that shows us where we can go that's like off grid, so that and then we put it into the calendar. So there's a plan for that, because we definitely didn't have a plan early on. And that ended up putting us in places that were either like trying to pull down somebody's cul-de-sac that looked dark and just like sleep for the night and do stealth camping, or find a Walmart that allowed you to park in, or
Because
Cracker
Walmart
Barrel.
let you, right? Walmart will let you park in their parking lot. Is that like a camping person's secret info that Walmart allows that? Or I heard that. Is it true?
They don't all. So you do have to check. And a lot of times if you're looking on, freecamping.net or Allstays or something like that, you can figure out if that particular Walmart is allowing it. And sometimes you have to go in and ask or call ahead. Our favorite place right now, if we have to do something that's in a city, is Cracker Barrels. So Cracker Barrels, we've never had them tell us no. And they almost always have RV large scale parking in the back, and they'll let you come in and just stay. We don't stay for more.
Do they bring you out any sausages or anything like that while you're there?
We've never asked them to, but they probably would, especially with COVID times. You could probably order some and have them just like come and drop it at your door. Pay online.
How about you, Jennifer? How do you guys figure out where to stay?
Yeah. So for us, it's a little bit more challenging than Joe, because we have a 44-foot fifth wheel with also obviously a large diesel truck that can pull that thing. So we need like at least 60 feet of space to park our house on wheels, right? And so, yeah, so we mostly stay at RV parks that can fit us. We have had some really cool stays though on BLM land. So BLM is Bureau of Land Management. And for the most part, you can stay on BLM land for free. So sometimes the roads getting into those places can be a little sketchy, especially for us with this, gigantic fifth wheel. But yeah, I mean, so far on this trip, we stayed in Wall, South Dakota, kind of middle of nowhere, where we just had this incredible view out, with the sunset and the sunrise and bighorn sheep out there. Amazingly, really good internet, which was a fantastic bonus.
Was it the over the Badlands?
Yeah.
You pulled that gate open and you went through the gate and you went out.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite stays. And then
ours
also,
too. Yeah,
it's incredible. I mean, I feel like anyone that has an RV or has a van needs to stay there at some point. It's just incredible. Cabela's is another favorite of ours. So Cabela's is fantastic. The Cracker Barrel, like Joe had mentioned, is also a great option. We stayed at our real estate agent's house for a couple of weeks in Tennessee. So that was really fun. What do they call that? Mooch stalking from friends and family. So we've done that a couple of times.
You own properties all over the place too, right? You can just go stay in the parking lot of one of your properties.
Yeah, we could. Our apartments don't have as much parking, at least in that instance, as a real estate agent did. She had a really nice long driveway. But yeah, that would be another option too. Stay at your own properties, right?
Okay, well, I'd like to invite you both to stay in my driveway if you ever need to. I have a long driveway. You're welcome. I have extra parking. You're welcome to park. in my driveway anytime. So let me ask you guys, Joe, you've got like a Sprinter van, like what is it, like a Mercedes Sprinter van, and Jennifer, you've got like an entire house, a 60-foot house. Do either of you, in hindsight now, do you wish you had a bigger home on wheels, Joe, and Jennifer? Do you wish that yours was smaller so you can park more places? Just curious, Joe. Are you happy with the size of your unit? Haha, side joke.
Yeah, we actually have gone back and forth several times, on should we build another RV out, and have come back to the conclusion that the choices that we made have been really great, and we would probably not do it different, other than maybe had picked a few different manufacturers for parts and things that we used, or companies that, like, for example, we have this pop top. So we had the top cut off of ours, and it pops up and down. So the bed is up top, and we keep the living area separate, and it makes it really nice and open for like working situations. So it's super light, and that's great. But the people that did that work, we probably would have changed that. So it's been fantastic. And the smallness and the lifted van with the big tires allows us to get lots of places. Although we almost did drive it off of a hill in the mud and snow in Chelan, was it 2 weekends ago, looking at a property. So I guess it's a double-edged sword. It makes you think that you can go a lot of places, but sometimes you can't actually, or shouldn't go there.
How about you, Jennifer?
Yeah, so we started this journey in July of this year, and we started with a 30-foot travel trailer and then the truck that we had at the time, which was a Dodge Ram 2500. And that was pretty good, but we found for a family of 3 with a very active, now 6-year-old, we needed more space. And I also needed a dedicated work area so that I could continue to do what I do with my businesses. And so we ended up upgrading to this, 44-foot fifth wheel that is also a toy hauler. And so currently I am in the back of the toy hauler here. My husband built me these really cool custom working desk. My daughter's bed is above me. It's a queen bed that comes down. She has her own separate bathroom, and really she has her own separate space. Wow. She probably has more space than we do, the rest of the trailer. And for us, that works really well. Now, are we limited on where we can go and where we can bring the trailer and where we can stay? That's a downside, right? But obviously, for us, we can park our trailer, we can drive our, truck pretty much anywhere we want to go. And so for us, we're really happy with this decision. It'd be nicer, I guess, if we could fit more places, but obviously we wouldn't have the benefits that we have with more space, which is important to us.
There's always the give and takes, and it's like so important to just be happy with or figure out what you want, I guess, and then just go with that.
So speaking of what you want, I'm going to ask this question to you guys. Why are you doing this? Like, what is the reason you decided to do this? Go ahead. I'll let you go first, Joe. What's your big why?
Yeah, so I think that for me, I always would go on vacation and would come back from vacation and be like, man, I wish that I could continue just working from that location and go and ride more mountain bikes, or, do more trail runs or hike up that mountain again. So this allows us to not stop working, but then be in places that the accessibility to the things that are super fun and vacation-like for us, they're just out the van door. And for us, it just allows so much more adventure constantly. It's just constant adventure. So that's the big one for me.
Does the constant adventure take the excitement a little bit off the edge of the fact that you get to do it every day as much as you want? Does that, Jennifer's like, no.
It never gets old for me.
Yeah, we're 2.5 years in, and it definitely, like having the ski resort out the door, like doing this podcast right now with you guys, which is so cool, and getting productive work done, and then opening the door and walking up to the chairlift. Can't beat it.
Word.
Yeah, I completely agree with Joe. For us, it was to have more adventure and create more family memories. Some of our best memories together as a family is just these adventures, these travels, these experiences that we've been able to have because, we've worked really hard, right, to build this lifestyle. And so So yesterday, I had done a couple of hours of work, analyzing deals, kind of visiting our properties virtually. And then, there we drove up to South Carolina, and we did a 5-mile walk watching the sun go down. And so you can't beat that kind of lifestyle, at least for me, right? We weren't able to have that in Seattle. While we had great hiking, and there were trails, if the weather wasn't cooperating, we found ourselves kind of stuck inside for weeks. And oftentimes flying out of Seattle to spend winters somewhere else. Whereas now we can just hook up and within a couple hours drive, be in a different climate and a new adventure in a different area.
Sounds good to me. I'll tell you what. So how many hours a day are you guys working? I know Joe's girlfriend, Emily, is with him. And she has a full-time job. So tell us about the working situation, Joe, between you and Emily. And then Jennifer, tell us, because we know you've got to be busy, right, with all your adventures. So you're keeping me busy. You're on the road. What's going on there?
So for us, for me in particular, like we talked a little bit before the podcast, I have very structured days. So like some days are set up so that they are way more heavy on work than others and need more internet or, more fast internet. So my days vary. Emily's are a little bit more structured in that she tries to put in, 7 to 8 hours of work per day. That being said, the company that she works for, True Canyon, is super supportive of what we're doing. In fact, the CEO for a while was having us send him pictures of where we were every month so that he could live vicariously through us. And he's a big adventure guy himself. So we do put in a lot of work time, but it's very strategic when you don't have to work at a specific time of day, or you just have to get a certain amount of work done. We can design our work schedules around where we are and what we're trying to do, So like today, we'll probably only work a half day max, maybe close to that. And then we kind of overloaded yesterday so that we knew that we'd be out playing today.
Nice. How about you, Jennifer? You're a little bit busy. How do you handle it?
Yeah. So same as Joe, I kind of schedule a couple of days a week where it's a little bit more of a fuller day. Actually, I shouldn't even say it's a couple of days a week. Maybe one day a week is where I have kind of a full day. But other than that, our schedule is we get up together as a family and we go on walks, or we do like a family hike, right? So the first probably hour of our morning is family time. And then we come back and my husband and daughter work on schoolwork. And so they do kind of this virtual learning, kindergarten schoolwork that they're doing together while I do some work. We pretty much wrap up our day mostly around like 2:00 in the afternoon. And then in the afternoons and evenings, we go out on adventure and just do different things together as a family.
Do you guys, this is kind of a personal question, do you guys get sick of each other at all? Right? That's like, I'm at my neighbors. I love my neighbors in my neighborhood. I have a real tight mom crew from all my moms at school, and my neighbors are awesome. And I love socializing with all of them. And that seems to be, maybe you're just meeting people on the road. You get to meet new people all the time, but maybe you like your kids and your girlfriend more than, no, I'm just kidding. How's that going? Is there tension? Does it not prying into the personal stuff, but there's got to be, something there where it gets tough sometimes, or you wish you were around other people. How do you deal with that?
That's a good question. That's actually a question that we get a lot with the whole living in a van, especially a very small van. And Emily and I lived together and worked together from a small apartment for a couple of years before we did this. So we kind of tested the waters with our relationship in that sense before jumping into it. But we tend to have personalities that are very similar and like a lot of the same things. So I don't know that if it would be that great for somebody that had a bunch of different things that they liked. But we've had a great time with it and haven't had really any issues with our relationship. As far as finding other friends, though, early on, that was actually pretty cool because non-COVID times, we'd meet tons of people on the road and we'd even hop around to different places and keep in touch with them on Instagram and meet up for let's go have dinner or whatnot. Since COVID though, that's been a little bit harder to do, and we haven't done it as much. And like, we are right next to actually Emily's sister and brother-in-law. So we do stuff with family that we know we kind of have this COVID bubble going, but it hasn't been as much as it would have been. Like usually we probably would have met several people that were in this line of RVs, but not so much right now.
How about you, Jennifer?
Yeah. So we've had a couple of instances where we were all just feeling a little cabin fever and a little like we were all kind of climbing on top of each other. So yeah, when we were in Tennessee for that month, there was a week of just not great weather. And so the three of us were pretty much stuck in the trailer that whole time. And we kind of found ourselves a little short with each other and acting a little grumpy. And so it was really fun. My husband was like, hey, we got to get out of this trailer. And so we ended up booking a hotel and going to this really cool resort. It's the Opryland Resort in Nashville, just because we needed a break. And that was exactly what we needed. There's a lot of really fun stuff there for kids. We also kind of took turns, my husband and I like hanging out with our daughter for a little bit, and then the other one would kind of go do their own thing. So for us, that was exactly what we needed. Now that we've been in some nicer weather and also, places where we can go to the beach and kind of re-energize based on like our surroundings and having just better weather in general, we haven't had that issue. So, but meeting other people has been key for us. We actually have a really fun couple who have a great story. They sold everything. They lived in Wisconsin. And they are now doing an RV kind of trip around the United States. And we're meeting up with them in Tampa next week for Christmas. And we had a really fun kind of like RV park Thanksgiving with these new friends that we had just met like 2 days prior and just had a blast. So meeting really cool people on the road just makes all the difference.
I'm going to ask you guys, how much you guys spend a week or a month on gas? I mean, I guess, or what's the cost? Let's go into the cost of living on the road. And then I'm going to ask you boring work questions a little bit, but what's the cost of living on the road? Like for you, Joe, and what are you spending your money on? Like,
Yeah. Stocks and saving and so, it varies so much. And that's a really tough question because like, it could be that we spend zero money other than on food, essentially on the road because we haven't moved for a week, which is great. And then you spend, drive for a few hours and it costs us anywhere from, let's see, $40 to $60 to $70 to fill up a tank of gas for 24 gallons of diesel. And then the RV parks are usually going to be around, it could be anywhere from like $10 to $80 a night. So it's really variable. And I would say the average that we probably see is around $20 to $30 a night, 35 maybe, where we're typically staying, as we hardly ever plug in unless it's the winter, since we have solar and we don't use up much energy. So you could put that together and say that, and our rig, just so people have an idea, cost us about $135,000. So you have that to start with. And then the gas, the insurance is a little bit more. What do we pay for insurance? That's $1,600 a year for insurance. And then the part or the places that you're staying, which could be, we've run into people that never pay to stay places. So you could kind of go like never pay to stay, or you go to like the KOA, whatever they call them, adventure or however they are, and they have pools and all this stuff, and those are going to cost like $80, $100 a night maybe.
Awesome. How about you, Jennifer? What are you guys finding? Joe, before I go to Jennifer, what's your highest expense on the road? I mean, it feels like gas would be, I don't know, it or something.
So if we're staying a lot of places, like in the winter, for example, when we're having to find hookups, and a lot of the free places in the winter are closed, so you can't do that quite as easily. Then the camping is the biggest expense. Right behind that would definitely be the fuel, And then behind that is going to be groceries. And that just because you're pretty much, or at least for us, we find a certain place that we like. And we found that because we can work at Whole Foods and it just coincides with the most expensive groceries, we're spending a lot of more money on things like that. But it's good food. So either way, so that's the expense list.
How about you, Jennifer? Because I'm sitting here kind of looking at the math, and it sort of feels like it'd be easy to spend, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000 a month just on food and gas. Or I mean, not food, because everybody's got to eat their food, so we won't count that. But like campsite stuff or gas, it might be easy to spend at least $1,500 a month. Is that fair to say? I mean, it's not like when I think of camping or doing what you guys are doing, I think of, oh my God, it's like cost effective for sure, right? But it isn't free. Is it cost effective, or is it more that you have the freedom? You know what I mean? Because it ain't free because the gas.
It's definitely cost effective if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. You can go either way. Like when we were in Arizona, hanging out in Sedona and Flagstaff for like a month, we didn't pay for camping one time for a month.
It depends on how long you stay somewhere, I guess, and if you're on free
and the place.
BLM land or whatever. Well, how long will BLM, Jennifer, let you stay there? Or you know what I mean? Do they kick you out after a few days or what?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's area specific.
It is usually.
Okay. Yeah. We haven't stayed much longer than 5 days in an area. So I think it kind of depends. I agree with
cost, Yeah,
I agree with Joe. I think it depends on your setup and then your travel style. So for us, amenities are very important with our 6-year-old, right? So we tend to stay places with pools and playgrounds and full hookups for us to feel most comfortable for the kind of travel style that we want to have. So yes, and we're paying for that, right? We're paying for those amenities. We're probably spending anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a month on just where we're staying, right? So these are like mostly RV parks. And then gas, we're paying an obscene amount. To be honest, I have not been tracking that. But it's pretty expensive to go from one place to the next. Now, we move about every week, right? So it's not every day that we're moving, but the more you move, the more frequent you move, the more you're going to spend on gas. We also, when we were in Tennessee and it was getting a little bit colder at night, we were spending more on propane as well. In some cases going through maybe $50, $75 worth of propane in 3 days. So that was an added expense as well. We pay $85 a month for like a high-speed internet that we use, to get kind of Wi-Fi everywhere. We don't tend to use park internet. It's unreliable that we've found, and it's often not very good. I would say we're spending the most on where we stay, and then gas, groceries, propane is right up there, and then all the activities that we're doing as well.
And how did that compare to like your mortgage payment if you had one before you sold your house? You know what I mean? I guess I'm saying that lots of us, that's why we're talking about it today, would love to live this lifestyle, but it ain't free, you know what I mean? Necessarily. And I think the reason people are doing it is probably for the freedom and not the low cost living, maybe.
Yeah. Let's just say, we're not saving thousands of dollars every month based on not having, a mortgage payment, right? So I would say it's pretty similar to what we were paying, to live in a, nice house in Snohomish, Washington, outside of Seattle.
But Joe, maybe not for you because you guys are doing it a different way, right?
Yeah, like I said, it's really variable. In the winter, we probably spend about the same amount of money that we were before. And in the summer, we usually save, depends on, but it could be quite a bit of money. And it's just so variable.
Hey guys, it's Julie here with a quick break from the show to discuss an opportunity some of you may have interest in, which is to work more closely with me. On almost a daily basis, I get calls from investors and brokers, both new and experienced, asking me for guidance or advice. I love helping you guys out, and it keeps me on my toes too. So with that said, I wanted to let you know that I have a private broker coaching community called the VIP Education Community. And the best part is that it's 100% free. That's right, it's free to join. So whether you're a traditional broker or a broker investor, my VIP education community offers personalized one-on-one coaching from not just me, but also from my experienced broker friends with expertise in all disciplines of real estate and real estate investing. We'll teach and share our modern marketing strategies, our tech and lead generation resources, plus teach you how to identify or offer up opportunities for yourself or for your clients using techniques such as seller financing, lease options, land entitlement deals, BRRRR investing, flipping, multifamily or commercial coaching, whatever you like. We've got it all covered for you. The future of real estate is changing fast, and to stay in the game, it's time to learn about all the options you can offer your buyer and seller clients, as well as, if you want, learn how to use those skills to grow your own real estate portfolio. If you'd like more details about joining my VIP education community, reach out to me at julie@seattleinvestorsclub.com or text me at 206-910-2985 or just send me a Facebook message. My new favorite phrase is community equals confidence. So let's navigate the future of real estate together. Now, back to the show. Well, let's talk about the number one driver probably is internet. Tell us about the internet on the road. And is that like, after we talk about that, what are the top three challenges, I guess I'd say, about being on the road? I feel like internet probably is one of them.
Yeah, definitely for us, internet is probably the biggest challenge in being on the road. And the way that we attack internet is we have right now 3 devices that have 15 gigabytes of hotspot per device. And we have separated that between AT&T and Verizon so that we can get different carriers, which definitely helps, is a huge advantage. And we don't usually go over that, but then we also, if I'm doing a lot of uploading, which I do, and on my heavy day of work, I will need to have a solid upload connection. And I try to not do that on the hotspots because I could burn through all of our stuff in a couple days. So what we're looking for is places that have consistently fast internet. If you can go into a Whole Foods, they have the fastest internet across the whole country, bar none. Like, they are the best of the best, better than Starbucks, better than any place else. They have, I would say, minimum 30 gigabytes up and down every store. And then from there, when you can't go into the stores, what we'll do is we'll just go and park close to a coffee shop, usually a Starbucks, and just use the internet in the parking lot. Or someplace else that we can find. A library is also another good place. Like, if you're in California right now, they're actually promoting that you should go to their parking lot to use the internet. They're trying to make it work for you. So the internet is definitely a thing, and the hardest part, I would say.
How about you, Jennifer? What are your ninja tricks?
Yeah, I agree. So that was something that we had to have figured out before we left. And so I watched probably, too many hours of YouTube videos trying to figure out how people do this. And I had also had a couple of Facebook friends, and I was just private messaging like, hey guys, how do you do your internet? What does it look like? What I found is that it's ever changing. And so it's really fun. We ended up meeting up with a Facebook friend of ours that we had never met in real life. We had only met on Facebook, and we're both full-time RVers now. And so we ended up meeting in Orlando, and their previous internet setup was no longer available. And so they got cut off by AT&T because they had a no throttle data plan. And so anyways, they were asking for our advice on what we were using. And so that's a topic of conversation that comes up a lot with RVers. And so our setup is we have a plan through Bix Wireless, which is an authorized reseller of an AT&T currently unthrottled plan. And so we get
What
about
does
a
that mean?
200.
What does throttle or unthrottled mean for us?
Yeah. So
out here.
yeah. So throttling is when you go over a certain amount of data and then they slow you down. And so that's not ideal if you're using a lot of data, right? And so trying to get a hold of these like truly unlimited, like unthrottled plans is really hard to get. And so it's interesting. So like right now, at least, at the time of recording this, you can't go to AT&T, you can't go to Verizon and get like a truly unlimited data only plan that works with multiple devices. But there's these like third-party retailers who somehow, I don't know how it works, but they have access to these. And so you can buy the plan from them. And so we're not on a contract with Bix Wireless, but Bix Wireless has access to this plan. It's a little SIM card. And then we ended up buying a specialized router that streams to all of our devices. And so our rig has 4 TVs, and then we've got 3 laptops and 2 cell phones, right? And so we can pretty much run, depending on the area, but pretty much run everything every month on that plan through this Mophie router. And then my husband and I both have Verizon phones with mobile hotspot. I believe we have like 75 gigs of data on our mobile hotspot. So if I'm in a situation where AT&T does not get good service, then I can tether from my mobile hotspot on my iPhone using Verizon. And so far, so good. That has worked really well for us. In some areas, the service isn't as great. So then we have this giant antenna thing that we hook up, and it boosts the cell service, which then gives us that data plan that we need.
Wow. That's all I got to say. That's good.
And after all that, it still doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah.
Crazy biz. So how long y'all planning to be on the road? Like, Joe, are you just like, I don't know, we're just going till we don't feel like going? Or do you have a specific plan in mind to come back or not? Or just open?
Oh, really? I mean, yeah, we're taking it season by season. It's hard to imagine slowing down right now. And we even found a piece of property that we're trying to buy right now in Chelan and build a house on. But we don't know when we are going to do that. It's like, all right, well, we may as well buy the property because we know that we really like it. And sometime, if we decide we want to slow down, we'll put a house on it. But it's not, we don't know. We don't know. It's so much fun right now that it's hard to imagine just stopping.
How about you, Jennifer? You got a 6-year-old with you.
Yeah, so I agree. Joe and I were kind of chatting about this earlier of, is there an end in mind, right? Or is there like a final destination? And it's really interesting. When we started this plan, we were kind of shopping for new places to live. We wanted to find an area that had better weather, that we could do a lot of outdoor activities, even in the wintertime. But now that we've kind of had this experience of having everyday adventures in different areas every week, it's kind of like, oh, that lifestyle doesn't sound very appealing anymore. And so, so we don't currently have an end in mind. This is kind of like an ongoing adventure for us. We're very open-minded to where we'll end up and kind of where we'll go, what we'll do. We're also kind of eyeing some visa programs in other countries in Europe and Asia. Other countries are starting to offer like single entry visas. Digital nomad visas, I think, is another term they use. And so for us, we feel like we have a somewhat limited amount of time with our daughter, who's 6 years old, before we have to get serious about the school things. We have a couple of years, I think, ahead of us. And why not take this time to just create these memories together with our family? So
is that your plan once she gets into first grade or something, that maybe you're going to come back and get her in school?
That's a consideration. The comeback part, I'm unsure about. I don't know where we'd be coming back to, or even, I love the idea of an international school in a different country. So those are all kind of talking points for our family and trying to decide, I think, what would work best for us long term.
Who would living on the road not work for example? If somebody's like, I want to do it, who do you recommend that it might be challenging for, leaving me out of the equation? Who would it might be? What do you think, Joe? Like personalities or situations that might be more challenging for?
I would say somebody that's like very routine oriented to the point where like they have their certain spot where they, drink their coffee and do their work and, go on their walks and the people that they hang out with, because that's constantly changing.
But
That being said,
with that said, you were quite a structured person before you left town, I would say. You're like
absolutely
the most structured routine person that I know. So did that throw you for a loop for a while?
some of it, yeah. And I've had to put little hacks in place. Like I was just telling someone recently that was traveling a lot right now, and he was having trouble doing some part of his routine. And I had admitted that I have to put a reminder with a checklist in my phone or devices to get certain things done, because there's not that routine. It's not like, all right, I walk into the living room or the kitchen and this is the thing that I do. Or, I sit down with my cup of coffee and I fill out my journal or something like that. There's so many variations of that scenario right now that I have to have something that I go to, like a, online scheduler or whatnot, to see, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
How about you, Jennifer? How do you organize your life right now? How are you able to, I know you can make commitments and stick to them and stuff like that, but what's the biggest challenge with the daily variables that come up?
Yeah. So for me, in the beginning, we were moving around a lot and spending a lot of time in the car. And initially I thought, oh, I can do calls in the car and I can send emails from the car. Well, until you try that. And when you're driving down the road, trying to send emails or trying to have a phone call while also navigating or having your family in the car, that just didn't work out that way. And so for us, we decided that staying a week in one place is better for my schedule so that I can actually be productive and get things done. We tend to move on Saturdays as well. So on the weekends versus a weekday where maybe things come up or people need to get a hold of me. It kind of took some trial and error to really figure out the best schedule for both, having these experiences and adventure with my family while also being productive and getting stuff done. That's how we've done it. I think it would be hard for anyone that obviously has to go into an office every day to live this lifestyle. Obviously,
there's a lot less people these days, right? Maybe even permanently. What about servicing your vehicle or breakdowns? Do you have to you can't just roll up to I don't know. Do you have to have a special RV place or, you got special parts? I don't know. What happens? Joe, have you ever broke down, or Jennifer, have you broke down and needed to get some stuff fixed?
I have a pretty fun. We were in the Frisco, Colorado parking lot where we were stealth camping, which means that our tops down, we're enclosed, trying to hide out and camp there because it's right next to Copper Mountain. And the thermostat on our heater breaks, or it doesn't stop working, but it doesn't tell us it doesn't give us any information anymore. Fortunately, it stayed on. The heater would stay on, but we couldn't regulate the heat at all. And it was 10 degrees outside. So really cold. At that particular point, fortunately, the people that built our van are amazing. And I called him up. I was like, oh, crap. What are we going to do? And he walked me through how to get the part that we needed overnighted. So I opened up the wall and rewired a new thermostat via his help into the van and got it working while stealth camping in this snowy weather parking lot. So that part, and some people may not want to do that, and then you have to go and get it serviced. But that's probably the craziest adventure. We had our water heater break at one point, froze, and I had to do that as well. Otherwise, we go to Mercedes every 20,000 miles. We don't need oil changes more than any 20,000 miles in the van, so it's not too much. But you could have to go to an RV place that's just on the road, and they're usually really packed, so that can be expensive.
How about you, Jennifer? Any exciting fix-it stories?
Yeah, I mean, we've had things break while we were driving. We've had things break while we were just like sitting in the RV. So yeah, stuff breaks all the time. You have to just kind of live with that. Fortunately, my husband is really resourceful. He's kind of he's been a general contractor for years, right? So he pretty much fixes everything, whether that be YouTube videos or searching on, like, we're members of the model of our RV in Facebook groups. And so I see people posting all the time, hey, this thing broke, or pictures, and everyone from the community gives them, tips on how to fix this stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah, we had a really interesting, probably our worst story was we were driving, we were leaving South Dakota after spending 5 days boondocking, right? So we didn't have sewer hookups, we didn't have electric hookups. And we were driving through Iowa, and we had finally found like a dump site. So when you're boondocking, then you have to go somewhere and dump your waste, right? And somehow the valve broke. And so it ended up flooding the parking lot off the freeway at this little And so that was quite the mess. That was kind of a bad deal. And to be honest, we haven't totally fix that yet. We do have to take the rig at some point to the dealer, and they'll probably keep it for at least a week to like fully fix that issue. But yeah, that was pretty bad. So kudos to my husband for dealing with that.
So here's my last question. I have two final questions before we wrap up today. This has been kind of a fun one, right? Just like, hey, I'm sure a lot of people want to do this, right? So nice to know they have resources from people that they already know and trust that are, big time into this. And so we thank you guys for sharing this all with us today. And one of the questions, last two questions, what is the funniest or the scariest thing that has happened to you on the road, Joe? Funniest or scariest? Or maybe it was scary and it was so scary it turned out to be funny. I don't know. Bear. Remember, Joe, where I'm like, oh God, Joe's out with the bears, and I have to like rock in my bed at night wearing like a mama bear about Joe. He's like, yeah, oh, Emily got trapped on one side of a bear and I was on the other side today. Remember that one? You remember that?
Yeah.
When you guys were trail running?
Yeah, we've definitely had some bear encounters, that's for sure. Several of them, it feels like at this point, especially being up to Alaska, the bears seem to be all over. And one very interesting moose encounter where we were trail running, and this moose stepped out of the woods and had like this huge rack. And those guys are enormous. Those guys feel, obviously a bear will do more damage and they're more dangerous. But as far as scared factor, that was probably one of the bigger ones.
Attention.
Oh my gosh, just massive moose. Other than like those type of like off-grid things, though, there hasn't been too many. People ask that, like, what's the weirdest, funniest, strangest thing that's happened? It hasn't been that weird, really, or we haven't had that many strange encounters. It's been pretty variable. The adventures are the high point, like the coolest, funnest things that we constantly do, but nothing like, don't feel in danger or anything like that. Haven't had that situation.
Yeah, I mean, same. We haven't really had like a really good story to tell, but I will say, so the first time towing home the new rig, it was really interesting. They had tested to make sure that we had the right hitch. And so we, they said, okay, everything looks good. You've got the right truck, right hitch. Great. Come pick it up on this day. And so my husband goes out there, and one of the service guys comes out and was like, no, you can't tow this home. You're missing what's called a capture plate. And so it's this like hunk of metal that basically like hooks onto the hitch that makes it somehow safe to tow from the hitch to the like pin box on the RV. So anyways, we searched everywhere. And of course, due to COVID, it's like sold out everywhere. We're like, well, shoot, how do we get our new rig home? And so anyways, my husband ended up saying, I'll figure it out. I'm just going to tow it home. He ended up towing it home, and it went okay. And then the very next day, we did kind of like a test run to our friend's house in Eastern Washington. He ended up not only like breaking our awnings in our own driveway, pulling out to go to this first test run, which we still haven't fixed. It's still broken out there. We get to our friend's house and we see like broken pieces of plastic in basically the hitch part. And so something else had broken in that meantime, and we were stranded in our other friend's driveway for a couple of days until we got the proper parts to fix it all. So yeah, it was not the best start for us with this new rig.
That's funny. All right, last question, guys, because I know clearly you guys are enjoying yourselves and living, we're all living vicariously through you. I know I am. I go from like, wow, I'm so jealous to like, where's he at? Where's he at? I like rocket, where's the bears? Where's the whatever? I'm like, Joe, do you have any weapons? Or I guess that's a little sidebar. Is anybody carrying any type of weapon or, protectionary type of measure besides Joe's got personal guns? How about you guys, Jennifer? Are you guys carrying anything for any wackadoodles you might come across?
Yeah, we carry bear spray when we're out hiking in areas like that. So yeah, we make sure that we're covered in that area.
Awesome sauce. All right, last question then, guys. Joe, what has been your absolute most favorite, best adventure or place that you visited that that you will want to go back to someday? Maybe it's the Badlands that you guys have been talking about, but what has been, or maybe just like an experience, a moment, the highlight of the last few years for you?
There are so many. There's a couple that stick out though, and actually, one of them that comes to mind was actually not in the van, but was accessible because we were in the van, because we were trying to knock off all the national parks. So when we were over in Florida and Miami, we flew out to the Virgin Islands, the American Virgin Islands. And when you get out there, there's one of the islands, and the whole island is a national park. And the cool thing about the island is it's kind of like a Hawaii, but there's not nearly as much development there. And so what we did is we hitchhiked. We would put our trail running gear on, and in our trail running packs, we would put goggles, and we would trail run through the jungle where there were ruins from like BC times and like petroglyphs and things. And then we would go find these bays and we'd go swimming with like turtles and stingrays. And we did this like hopping on like a 15-mile trail run day, and then hitchhike back to the ferry terminal.
Me, I think of alligators. You talk about that. The whole time I'm going, damn it, he's gonna get an alligator biting him. That's what I think. I guess I'm a chicken. Words out, guys. I'm a chicken.
Yeah, there's no alligators there, and there's no snakes either, actually.
Cool. Well, that sounds fun. Would you go back there again?
Oh, absolutely, in a heartbeat. Yeah.
How about you, Jennifer? Best adventure, best place experience so far?
Yeah, so my favorite place is Moab, Utah. You've got multiple parks there, right? So you've got Dead Horse State Park, which is the Utah State Park. You've got Arches, you've got Canyonlands. And so for us, we love Moab. We've been twice there this year, and we're dying to get back, hopefully in the springtime. But our favorite day was we ended up renting a RZR, like a side-by-side, kind of ATV type vehicle. And so it was my husband, my daughter, and I. And the local guy that rented us the vehicle said, hey, there's this secret spot that mostly locals go to. He gave us a map. And he basically said, hey, stay off the trails that have like the diamond or whatever. Like those are not the safe ones. Like those are Jeep only. Don't go there. So we ended up going there. And of course we had to go on these trails, right? So my husband's been doing this all his life as far as, driving these things. And so we ended up going on these trails. There was no one around for miles. And I mean, it was pretty hot. It was midsummer, so it was like 110 degrees out. But we ended up going on some incredible trails that were like right on the cliff. You could see for miles. You could see Arches out in the background. You could see, into Canyonlands and all that. We came across dinosaur tracks. We came across petroglyphs. We hiked up and found this it's kind of like an old, there was petroglyphs in the area, but it was like this cave in the middle of nowhere. And you could walk through the cave and get just the most incredible view of the valley. And so we spent the entire day. I mean, I think we were out there for like 8 or 10 hours, really just exploring this area, driving probably faster than we should have, going through the sand, going up these rocks. And I mean, I'm dying to get back there. That to me is like the ultimate adventure. So
awesome. Sounds so good. Sounds so good. I was sitting here while you guys were talking. I'm also thinking about what would you guys need for like Christmas? What would be good Christmas presents for people that are on the road having massive adventures? Kind of like how do you give them, how do you get them something? And I live on the water here with beautiful, Olympic mountain views and all that stuff, and in a view neighborhood, I guess I'll say. And I was thinking what would be good for you guys is they have these zoom lenses now that you can attach to your cell phone. So when you're out on these adventures and you're seeing these great views from afar, these unique situations, you could get a zoom lens kind of thing that attaches to your cell phone that takes photos. That'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna get one for you guys because I love you guys.
I was gonna say the thing that you could do that at least we would like most and that we like most from everybody is come visit us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
in Moab or in
100%.
Whatever.
That would be awesome. I would love to get the girls out to you guys, Joe. So that would be super, super fun. So again, you guys are living the dream. You guys are Jennifer, you're still buying properties on the road. You're doing your business. I mean, you're doing an insane amount of business. Has it slowed you down at all? I mean, tell us the stats on what Agents Invest and Addicted to ROI has accomplished in the last year, because it's absolutely stunningly amazing. I'm so happy to know you, and I'm constantly telling people to go check out all your stuff and engage with you all the time. And so I'm just so blessed to know you both. Tell us a little stats on what you've been able to accomplish on the road, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you so much, Julie. Yeah, it's been a busy year for us. We launched a membership group where we can work kind of side by side with these investors, helping people get into out-of-state markets. And so we have a little over, I think we're at 310 members now. Which is really cool. And a lot of our people, they joined in, let's say, May or over the summer, and they're on, their third, fourth, fifth property in some cases. And so, yes, we're really proud of that. We're really proud of the results that our members are getting, while also, adding value to real estate agents. So I think one of our real estate agents, she's maybe closed like 15 million or so in just referral volume from investors within our community. She was also able to start her own property management company. I think she started that about a year ago when investors of ours were buying in her market. And so now she has over 650 units under management, wow. Which again, we're thrilled for her.
What state is that?
That's in Tennessee. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so for those of people that don't know what we're, are not, first of all, go listen to episode 110. And get to know Jennifer Beadles and Agents Invest and Addicted to ROI so much better. But what we're talking about is that you have a group, Addicted to ROI, of investors, of agents and investors that want to buy these rental properties. And you are connecting with real estate agents across the country in markets that you vetted, that have ground teams and so forth. And basically they supply the deals that you, I don't know if you fully vet them or what your vetting process is, but those people in Addicted to ROI in your inner circle then have access to buying these great properties with basically ground teams in place to assist them once they're able to take them down. And these are both on market and off market properties. Is that accurate?
Yep. And so for us, we say our secret recipe for success is having a community, having the connections, and then having access to deals. And so, so we just love seeing the results of our members and, just really kind of seeing this come, full circle for people, because we want more people to have the lifestyle that Joe and I are talking about.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, so real estate investing remotely has been, the vehicle that's helped me achieve that. And so for us, it's about how many more people can we help, get to the same place.
And you're looking for other agents that are welcome to plug in. I'm sure you have a vetting process. We won't go deep dive on that. You guys just need to go plug into Agents Invest and get to know what your opportunities are to be a referral partner agent for you guys in whatever states that you're in. Are you currently looking for agents in any specific market, Jennifer?
So we do look for markets that meet our criteria for, growing population, that there's job growth, that it's an area where there'll be, good long-term investment opportunities for investors. So for us, we do, make sure that it's a good area long-term.
Excellent. Excellent. And so what's the mastermind or the private group? There's an inner circle group, or is that everybody who's in Addicted to ROI, are they now in the inner circle group and they join your membership there, or how does that work these days?
Yeah, so the inner circle is our paid membership group. And that's where we interact, together on a monthly basis. We have Q&A calls. We invite agents in, markets that we're getting a lot of deal flow in to share about their market, to answer investor questions so that investors can kind of familiarize themselves with those markets and then decide if that's a market for them. We also have a forum where investors can ask questions in real time. We do a lot of different events every month, again, for the goal of helping more people remotely invest in out-of-state areas.
Awesome. And those people are on like a deal list with you, and they get deals weekly, probably.
It's every day. Yeah, I think we ended up sending, we had maybe 130 deals last month go in. And that's in multiple different markets across the U.S.
That is absolutely insane. Congratulations on just an explosive amount of success there. Ooh, can't wait to continue to share all the goodness with you guys. And if you guys are interested in what Joe's up to as well, because I know a lot of you people that are on the road probably have similar characteristics as Joe. You love fitness and you love health. I basically say Joe's my doctor. I'd rather go to Joe and get the information from him, not to, gotta say disclaimer on there, he's not a doctor, but Joe, for health and fitness and all the stuff that you can help people with in that regard, what is the best way for them to plug in, and what are you offering? A membership site to the Get Better Project and so forth?
Yeah, so we have a membership site that has workouts daily, and you get personal coaching from myself and the other coaches that are part of the Get Better Project. And you can find any of our stuff at the Get Better Project online at .com or on Facebook or Instagram. And we have a 2-week free trial. And find that 2-week free pretty much anywhere as well, and try it out. And you don't need any equipment to get started. You just want to get in, look better, feel better, all that fun stuff.
Awesome stuff, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up today because I'm overloaded with work here, stuck in my office. Boo. Oh, well, that's me. But with that said, I will wrap it up with a couple admin things here. Thanks both of you guys for joining us today. Kind of an end of the year fun one here, not being so serious and actually talking about what we're all trying to pursue and achieve, which is some freedom, which you guys have clearly done. Super inspiring. We appreciate that. For the rest of you, whether you're on the road or you are stuck at home in your office like me, please join us, engage with us, just join the conversation. Here at Seattle Investors Club, we do that every week on Thursdays from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. It's free, 100% free to just plug in. You go on to our meetup.com page, look for Seattle Investors Club, and every Thursday morning, just grab the access link and join us on Zoom, where we talk about pretty much all topics in real estate. Doesn't matter what discipline or what your game is in real estate, because we pretty much have everybody on there, from brokers to agent investors to agents to lenders, private money lenders, hard money lenders, conventional lenders, property managers, dropping some big nuggets there every week, and resources and tips and strategies and deals. Yes, you're missing out if you haven't jumped on that, which is free. One thing that's going to change for us this year is that those are all on our YouTube page. You guys can watch and listen to all the past recordings of those meetings for the last, since March, basically since COVID hit. But starting in January, those new recordings as of January of our weekly masterminds, which I promise you actually don't want to miss, are going to be behind our paid membership site for Seattle Investors Club. Super, super cheap to join Seattle Investors Club. It's $220 a year. That's it. You get access to more education than you're possibly going to be able to handle. And then, of course, we have our podcast, the Nuts and Bolts Real Estate Investing. You guys are already listening, so thank you for that. And that's all I got today because I am, just inspired to not work as hard. So I'm going to leave it at that. How about that, guys? And then, Joe, where can people find the details of today's podcast or connect with us?
Yeah, so you can get all the show notes and links that we've mentioned today in the podcast by going to seattleinvestorsclub.com/134. That's seattleinvestorsclub.com/134. And if you guys are liking what we're doing here, please give us a review on the podcast wherever you are listening to it. That could just be a thumbs up on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube or an actual review on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you're at. And we would love that. We keep seeing those reviews come in. It definitely helps our show. So thank you.
Awesome. Hey, Joe or Jennifer, will you guys drop into the show notes the apps? You guys mentioned an app, like where to go, how to find where to stay. When you're having to look ahead of time or something like that. I would find that any type of camping on the road stuff that you guys can drop into this podcast notes that will help people who want to start pursuing this dream themselves would be super awesome. All right. So Jennifer, you and I, or Sarah and I are talking later this afternoon with some exciting stuff that you have coming up that you've invited me to be a part of, which I appreciate. And I guess we'll be talking later today or soon. So over and out, everybody. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Seattle Investors Club podcast. If you have questions that you'd like to have answered on the show, shoot us an email at info@seattleinvestorsclub.com. Now go out, take that action, and build that real estate business. Thanks for listening.